That was like a weird, I don't know why I did that. What's up everyone? Was feeling very lazy today, but gonna try to keep the recaps going. Gonna be talking about my September today. As always, please hit the video chapters if you don't wanna watch everything. Let's kick off. So what did I do in the month of September? We took a business class train, which is as good as it sounds. There will be a full video on this because I think it's worth talking about. That was a very good decision. Really enjoyed that. That was maybe the highlight of my September. We went to Bratislava. My second time, Yunju's first time. It was kind of what I expected. There were some highs and lows. There were definitely some good things there. After that, we went to Vienna. My third time, Yunju's second time. I think Vienna was extremely surprising in a very good way. I really am a big fan of Vienna now. We left Europe. Not sure if that's clear or not based on my videos. Some people might think we're still in Prague. We left Europe and have been back in California for like 3.5 weeks now. And we hung out with a lot of friends. So in Vienna, we had friends that were overlapping that we got to hang out with. We saw friends in LA. We saw friends in San Francisco, mostly LA. I hardly have any footage from the weekend in San Francisco, but that was my September in a nutcap from like a what we did and kind of where we were situation. If you see me looking over here, I'm cheating with my notes off my laptop. Food, I never ended up making a video for August, which maybe I'll come back to that, especially because it was all Prague, so maybe I'll do like a best Prague food. Best part of September was that it was like a mix of eating new things in Europe and being back in California. So you can imagine what I've been eating here. You can imagine some of the things, so I talk about them all the time. Stay tuned for those videos as well. As far as content and what I created, this was honestly a pretty soft month. I expected that because friends were visiting, we were doing a lot of cool stuff. So I published 5 videos, which is similar to the prior month with folks visiting in August. So I did the Sarajevo Old Town video, which was very fun. I did August recap. That's probably less interesting, especially right now. I did our worst day of our whole trip, which was the travel day from Zagreb to Budapest. I know, boo-hoo, I'm traveling and I had a bad day. And then 2 videos in Prague, one with Yunju's mother and aunt. I don't know why I said mother instead of mom. And then one with our friends visiting us in Prague. Duh, I already said that, Chrissy and Patrick. So one with family, one with friends. Out of all those, my favorite was probably one of the 2 Prague ones, just because I think we went to such good spots and did so much in the videos. So if you want to check any of those out, as always, check the description. I'll have links to all those, and I probably showed the thumbnail so you have an idea of what they look like. That was what I did on YouTube. I wrote 1 post, so the blog is still alive. I wouldn't say well. The only post I wrote was August recap. I need to figure out some sort of flow or what I want to write about, but I'm gonna try to do more. And then for short form, I only did 3 TikToks. That's ultra soft. We'll talk about my commitments like next, but 3's terrible. So I did do some funny ones. I like read this review from like a John's Incredible that I thought was hilarious. And then there's like this Japan toilet fail. Hit me on TikTok or check out my YouTube shorts, but there will be more content. It is October 4th as I write this. I'm gonna step up the short form game. So my commitments, let's quickly look at last month. So for September, my first one was go on 6 runs of 2+ miles. I smashed that one. I went on 12 runs and the bulk of them were at least 3 miles. So thank God I was able to come through on one of these. Catch up with 2 friends via FaceTime or call. I don't know why I set this one up that way. I do think I caught up with a few people via FaceTime or calls. I caught up with a lot more people in person, which is more important. That was like a weird, I don't know why I did that. I'm gonna give myself a pass, I did that one. And then 6 TikToks per week. You can do the math. I did 3 in a month. That was an ultra fail. Not a lot more to talk about on that one. I've been feeling ultra lazy. Hopefully y'all can relate. My goals or commitments for October. Number 1, I'm gonna create a new YouTube channel. More on that later. I want to edit and upload 5 previously recorded TikToks. I have so much vertical footage because I thought I was gonna be posting every day. So I just wanna get some of that stuff up because I think either went to some cool places in Prague or did some cool stuff in LA, want to share that. Go on 2 runs of 10 kilometers, or I think that's like 6.25-ish miles. I just want to get my range up, can talk more about that, but I've really been enjoying running. I'm super out of shape. I hate the run during it, but I feel great afterwards. And I want to edit and publish a non-vlog, non-monthly recap video because I'm inundating you with all that and I love doing both, but I want to do something a little bit different. So I'm gonna shoot to do something new in October. I read 7 books, so even though I've been like ultra lazy in a lot of ways, I've been reading. When I say reading, I've been doing like a lot of audiobooking. I did read one of these books. I guess 1 out of 7 is not that great. So first book I read, Leviathan Falls, so book 9 in the Expanse series. Highly recommend the series. I read a ton of Jack Reacher, or audiobook rather. So I read The Killing Floor, which is book 1, one of the better or best Jack Reacher books. Blue Moon, probably the worst one I read out of all these. Past Tense, I love that one. Dial A for Aunties was my non-Jack Reacher and the only book I read. I wouldn't say this was great, but I read it in 2 days. If you liked Crazy Rich Asians in any way, I would give this a stab. Midnight Line, another Jack Reacher. This is probably the 3rd favorite one, like very middle of the ones I read. Make Me was only better than Blue Moon. And then I am currently, that was another Jack Reacher. And then I'm currently reading, or again, rather listening to The Biggest Bluff, How I Learned to Pay Attention, Master Myself, and Win. This has been very fun. It is about a writer who gives herself this challenge to learn poker and like go to tournaments and like win. It's made me really want to get into poker. But more than anything, it would just be really cool to like win tournaments and make a lot of money doing something fun. I get super lazy playing poker, but that is what I'm currently reading. I would recommend this one. If you're like kind of interested in poker, I'd say that's all you kind of need to be into this book. Learning and language, so always a weird one to talk about. Did not learn much Slovakian. I think we learned how to say like thank you and a few things. It's similar to Czech, but different enough where it's just kind of like, I don't know. I have been doing Duolingo. That will be my language and learning. So I've been mostly doing Korean when I'm in LA, and then I'm like doing Spanish as well. So those are the 2 main ones. I'm super ADD and like I see all the languages and then I'm like, let's do a little of everything. But I think those are the 2 main focus. If anyone watching this is on Duolingo, hit me in the comments. Also tell me how to add someone else. Like I don't really know how to do that, but would love to add you on Duolingo. Last thing I'll say on Duolingo is I hadn't done it in the last like 2 years. It is so much better than it's ever been. So for anyone that like did Duolingo years ago, fire it back up. It is way better. Money and finances, this is the first month. I do not want to check my personal capital. Earlier today, I checked like the stock market for the first time in like 3 or 4 or 5 days or whatever, because it's been really depressing. So I was down a lot in September. We'll talk about that another time, but like the wound is fresh, so I don't want to get into it right now. But the last 2 days have been really good. If you're working, keep buying, keep investing. Don't think about it. Don't be emotional. My spend, happy to talk about that. We were only in Europe for like 8 or 10 days, and then we went to SF and stuff. We just haven't spent a lot of money because we're like back home staying with family. So total for me in September, $696 more or less. Accommodation was $225 of that. Food and beverage was about $300. Transportation, $170. Oh my gosh, gas in California is like $7 right now. That is not an exaggeration. It is gut-wrenching. It is depressing. While we were gone, it went up, and then when around the time we came back, I was like, oh, it's like down to 5 and things are getting better again. In the last like few days and week, it's like crazy. That's another annoying thing. Activities and miscellaneous, I think it was $1. I think Yunji got like McDonald's or something, and I didn't want to count it as food or something. I don't know. Total for 2 people for the month of September, $1,392. Where to next? So a few weeks ago, I booked a trip for us to Mexico to go to Guadalajara and Puerto Vallarta, 2 of my favorite spots. Love both of them. Booked the flights there and back. Booked 2 Airbnbs. Then the next day I canceled them because like I'm like ultra like tired and lazy. So TBD if we do anything. It is like early October now. I've got like weddings and stuff to do, and then I need to be back for Thanksgiving. So I don't know if there's time to squeeze anything in. But if we went anywhere, it'd probably be Mexico. Otherwise, we might just stay in California and do the whole southern, central, northern California thing until the end of the year. Stay tuned to what we're doing next year. There is a plan. Flights are really expensive, so I need to figure that out. But that was my ultra fast, even though this is longer than I expected, September recap. Let me know if there's anything I left out. Let me know if you have any questions. I love answering comments. Thank you for bearing with me as I don't do and publish a lot of videos these last 2 months, but thanks for hanging in there and hanging out and watching. Let me know what you're up to. I will be back with a video this Saturday. I think I'm going to do a video on Bratislava. It's a longer one. We did a lot. I will see you this Saturday. Thanks for hanging out. Have an awesome rest of your day.